scientists realized they were looking at no space rock. This was something far more rare, a visitor from beyond our solar system. What they have spotted was an interstellar object, now officially named.
I disagree. I'm gonna drag it. I'm gonna drag it. I am gonna drag it because if women are so nurturing, why do we keep killing kids? Yeah, yeah. Women have aborted an eighth of the world population. That doesn't sound super nurturing to me.
But why are we women?
Why are we?
Women
Why are
abort.
we? I let you finish. I let you finish. I let you finish. My turn.
Right.
All right, all right. So
These kids are lazy as hell from social media. I think to me, main cause. We could talk about the single parent household all day, but honestly, I think it's just social media all the way around. We're always on our phone, looking at the internet, looking at videos and all this stuff, and we're not actually putting in action to what's going on. It's more like we're just scrolling, and we have opinions. That's it. But no one's actually out there doing anything. Not even when it comes to relationships. They're just walking around. They don't really even know how to talk to girls.
Yeah, baby.
Like us.
That's what, like what?
That sounds like our generation.
What do you mean our generation?
I don't understand why the adults that exist right now, like the younger generation, the older millennials, they did that.
No, they did not. No, they did not.
No, they are not.
That's like, what generation are you talking about?
I'm so tired. Yeah, we forgot we were the last.
I'm doing all sorts of poses, bitches.
Are y'all forgetting the shows and the movies that portrayed how we were? How much of an attitude we had while we was at work? Like,
maybe you're just like that.
I think
act like we didn't do that.
I think that, by the way, hi, thanks for having me on. But I think that millennials are like the worst generation of women ever. So I don't really see a difference between millennial and Gen Z women. It's my personal opinion. If anything, like when I interviewed women on my show and stuff, I thought like, yeah, they might be socially awkward, but they're less like combative Gen Z.
That's because they don't know how to communicate. Do you agree with that? They don't know how to explain their thoughts.
Bitch, you like me now?
I guess getting nervous about what they're saying since they're, not confrontational.
Yeah, I might agree with that, but I just don't see a huge difference. I'm a younger millennial though, so it's possible that maybe like the 40-year-olds, I can't remember when millennial ends, that maybe there's a difference, but.
What's up, everyone? Say hello, like the chat,
The difference in social skills.
share it with your friends.
Yeah.
Feel free to call me names.
I kind of think it's affected
Watch this.
everybody since COVID.
Oh,
I
fuck.
think everyone's social skills have gone down. I see a little bit of a difference in people over the age of
Son of a bitch.
45 or 50. They seem to have like a sense of clarity. Just like, but Facebook, like Tinder was what, 2010? Facebook was around the same time.
Ah!
So I mean, we had the internet
Son of a
for while.
bitch.
I think it affected millennials too. Personal opinion though, when you guys have seen different stuff.
Well, I agree that the millennials and Gen Z. So I'm not speaking of that generation. I'm more speaking of like our parents, our grandparents. That's what I'm talking about. And I'm not sure if Bo is. Are you talking about our? Like, I don't know how old you are, but our parents and our grandparents. They knew how to communicate. They knew how to fight and all that stuff.
Bitch, you like me now?
Older millennials and Gen X. I specifically said that.
Oh, okay, you might have. I might have missed it. I'd say the cutoff was around 45, but I see a difference. But like, let's be honest, the moms between like 30 and 45, they're on Facebook, like even 50. I mean, they loved their Facebook. I don't know about you guys, but they were like posting everything on there. So, yeah.
From idea to submission, empower students to do their best work with Grammarly's comprehensive AI writing assistance. What if they could jumpstart ideas for any assignment? What if they could
Ah!
their text sources? What if
Do you guys think it's gender specific? Because I see women on social media way more than men.
Or I think we just like to voice our opinions more than men do. Men are starting to talk more, but could be a female thing.
Oh, you gotta factor in the fact that social media is more of a safer space for women than it is for men. Given the incels, you got um, NSFW, you have guidelines and protected members and all this other stuff. When men typically can't really voice how they really feel or even behave the way they actually feel on social media without being canceled. To answer the question, I was about to say the prompt like TikTok. I think you stated earlier about men being weak or something like that, or sorrowful or whatever. I would say a lot of parents today, especially mothers, raising children based on outcomes. They're raising them based on their own unresolved
Bitch.
trauma.
Yes. Yes. Bam. You like me now, bitch?
What will help my child thrive in this world? They ask, what will protect my child from what I went through? And that's dangerous, because now you're parenting out of fear, not wisdom. You're raising sons to be emotionally safe, but socially weak. You're raising daughters to be independent, but not cooperative. And the society, the peers, the TikTok, Instagram algorithm reinforces the same feeling. And the result of that is a generation of young people optimized for protection, not purpose.
As most of you know, I have been fighting on the front lines of the simp epidemic for years. But I
Yes.
need to tell you about a
Boom.
ratcheted up against men that is rarely talked about. It's not just the relentless anti-masculinity propaganda and OnlyFans hoes causing the societal issues that we discuss on this show. Did you know that the average city's tap water contains trace pharmaceuticals and endocrine disruptors? This often includes estrogen from birth control. The average adult consumes a credit card worth of plastic every single week. That's 5 grams of plastic a week on average. So it's no wonder that the average man's testosterone is half of what the average was 50 years ago. Testosterone levels decline 1% a year, and without a course correction, we are headed towards extinction. No matter how based you are, you need to be naturally boosting your testosterone. My friends at Chalk,
What the fuck, dude?
on a mission to save mankind from extinction by boosting your vitality. Chalk's male vitality stat contains premium and potent herbs clinically studied to naturally boost your testosterone levels, sperm count, and overall vitality. Just one of the many ingredients in the male vitality stack was studied in double-blind human clinical trials to boost total testosterone 20% in 90 days. When you boost your testosterone, you'll have more mental clarity, you're more capable of making decisions and taking risks. Having high testosterone will also affect your pheromones, so women will find you more attractive subconsciously. Get the Chalk Male Vitality Stack right now on chalk.com. That's CHOQ.com. Use my name Pearl as your coupon code and you'll get 25% off site-wide on chalk.com. That's CHOQ.com. My name Pearl is the discount code.
All right. Go ahead there, Ms. Bougie. Are we raising boys to be too soft or too silent?
I don't think that they're too soft or too silent. I will say that as far as silence goes, social media is, at least in this day and age, an equally used space as often as a panelist of men on TikTok is often as I see a panelist of women, vice versa on Instagram. So I think that everybody has something to say and is able to say it. It depends on the definition of softness though, because what I do see a big difference in that I know the older generation of men call soft is like, for instance, a perfect example is that I'll get on social media and talk to 35 and under, and they believe in the 50-50. They believe in a woman bringing something to the table. They believe in what do you have to offer. If I buy you a gift, are you going to buy me a gift? And I do understand that a lot of older men see that as like them being softer because 35 and up doesn't think that that's necessary. 35 and up doesn't necessarily advocate for a woman to go to work and not just sit around and do et cetera, et cetera. Now, as far as mental health, I kind of feel like the mental health of younger men would be a little bit better since they're more comfortable expressing their opinions, their feelings, what's going on, et cetera, et cetera. Like, I could see a shortage of young men being like stifled in their feelings. Like, they'll get on there and they'll be like, I don't care if you think that makes me a bitch that I'm on here yelling about my issues with women. I want to express it. I want to talk about it. I want to say what I got to say. So I don't really think that their silence is softer in that manner.
Yes.
Even this year, when it was Men's Mental Health Month, I saw that talked about a lot.
But then why are all the channels that talk about that kind of stuff demonetized and kicked off all the platforms? Like I've gone through eight TikToks, 3 Instagrams, demonetized on YouTube. You don't see that for like Call Her Daddy, which is openly like misandrous stuff, or other platforms that advocate for women's issues. So I disagree like wholeheartedly, because I've lived it, that it's the same. It's definitely not, because one is, and it makes perfect sense why they do it. They make more money off of women. You just buy them or anything. So, but
I mean,
yeah,
that's coming from an economic standpoint or like a business standpoint, because it's not like the actual person that's trying to express themselves demonetize their own account. So you can't say that because the account gets demonetized, it's a direct correlation of them being softer or being silent. No, they're talking about it.
But it shows that one society accepts one and not the other. So it's like if you're paid to say misandrous things about men, and you literally make money off of doing it, which you see big content creators do that all the time, like Drew Alphaville, I can't say her last name, but there's content creators like that make money. They're obviously going to do it more, right? I mean, when you're paid to do something, you do it more. One side is not paid, one side's paid. So
that has nothing to do with, are we as the parents raising our children to be soft or silent, and then do the children actually act soft or silent? That has everything to do with what the business and the company can make money off of. When you're talking about demonetization, the question is are the children soft and silent? No, they're not. You just said that they're talking about it on the internet, but the internet is trying to shut them up, but they're not silent or soft.
Correct. But it's not just the internet, and this does affect the kids too, because the school system's 90% women, and so even if you teach, like, the boys are kind of, guys are pragmatic. If they speak up and the teachers punish them, if they go on social media and they're punished there, then they go to college, they're punished there, they just shut up. So it doesn't really matter how you raise the kids, because if the world punishes them for talking, they're just going to be silent. So
but that's the whole point. I think that kind of ties into Bo's point, is like,
got safety protocols? Grainger has the Safety Pros 2 call. Shop our fast inventory of safety products at Grainger.com. Call, click, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you know TV, you have YouTube TV. Join millions of TV lovers and get over 100 plus live channels. YouTube TV. Try it free. Terms apply. Cancel anytime.
the world telling them to shut up was a millennial and Gen X problem. Gen Z doesn't give a damn if you tell us to shut up. Gen Z is like, who are you to tell me anything? I'm going to scream even louder. You're not going to silence me. You're not going to stifle me. That's the point. You're talking about, is the world trying to shut them up? I never said the world wasn't trying to shut them up. But the question is talking about, will they shut up? No, they won't shut up. Even if you tell them to shut up. Even if you're screaming at the top of your lungs that they're wrong, they don't care. That is something that is tied into Gen Z blood. They won't stop.
By a generation of people, though, they can give people a job. So they might want to shut up. And, that's for starters. We got to stop trying to coddle them. No, those are the most whiny group ever. Gen Zs, and lower millennials, and it shows. And for anybody that says that single mothers are raising good children, it overwhelmingly shows they are not. Okay. Now it also shows that poverty plays a huge role in how these same kids from these single mother homes are performing in life. You know, and to think that a woman should just have kids out of wedlock and just bring another man around because they can have a role model has nothing to do with the child's biological father. And that's sad that we are promoting this garbage. That a woman should, oh, it's okay, she go out here and have kids by other men. Oh my God, they let her. So what? She's not married. Don't judge her. And then get mad when
What the fuck? Did I just die?
want another man to come around and be the kid's father. It doesn't work that way. There's something called DNA. If the child is born to emulate at some point in their life.
I know, but unfortunately, it does work that way because women are just gonna keep doing it. They'll do it forever. Exactly. I know, it's never gonna stop. Ever.
No one ever said, because y'all you talking about this. I never said that it was okay. I never
glorifying the motherism as if they're
I wasn't talking about it.
I did not glorify anything. I was stating fact.
Yeah, that's not a fact.
Stating fact is glorifying.
Mothers
I said I wasn't gonna do this.
Raising better children. Show me a stat where single mothers are overwhelmingly the better parent.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. No, you're right.
I'm
right. So right, lady.
I know I'm right.
And I'm gonna give it to you. You right about that.
Yeah, I also agree. Women are terrible parents generally. I just horrible parents.
The biggest abuse.
Yeah, I actually think sometimes the kids are better off when the parents are divorced. But not because the women are better parents, but because then the kids get some peace and quiet at the dad's house. But only if there's like 50-50. Like no nagging, no complaining, no none of that. It's like peace and quiet.
I would say that because my kids were raised in a divorce home, the kids actually did better when they were with their father. That's just a fact. It's a 100% fact. Even when it came down to discipline compared to when he disciplined, he didn't have to discipline. I just talked to like they're in their 30s. He didn't have to discipline him the way I had to do it. His voice alone shut him down.
And it's always going to be like that, right? Because a man's presence is different than a woman's presence. We are nurturers. The way we handle things with our children are different. I don't think women as parents are horrible.
Well, if women are, I gotta come in. All right, I'll let you
are horrible parents. I think that single mother households struggle much more in raising their children. And the statistics do show that single parent households that are male leading are better. The kids end up better. And that's because the structure is different. We are here for the nurturing. That's why you need both.
Yeah, right? So I disagree. I'm gonna drag it. I am gonna drag it because if women are so nurturing, why do we keep killing kids? Yup. Women have aborted an eighth of the world population. That doesn't sound super nurturing to me. I let you finish. My turn. All right. So, and also, women are more likely to abuse children. In fact, when there's child abuse, it is never the guy. Pretty much, if it's a man, it's usually a guy that the woman brought in. Oh, the woman brings in the new boyfriend, he abuses the kids. So that's still the woman's fault. This idea that women are nurturing, well, what's your evidence for it? Other than we give birth, and anyone can do, like a dog can do that, a cat. So I don't think that makes us nurturing. I just don't see
that women are nurturing, and I'm not saying all women are nurturing. Of course, there are bad women out there, and there are also bad fathers who abuse their children. So we're not going to only say that only women.
I will say that most. It is a fact that the majority of abuse is done by women. Like, imagine, and I know, but it's...
We never say it all. We never say it all.
No, I actually didn't. I didn't, but I said the majority. I said the majority. Okay, are you trying to nitpick here? Or are you trying to understand what I'm saying? So
You're making a statement.
Yeah, I know, but you're proving my point even further by the nagging. And see the so I'm not lying. I'm actually telling the truth. I am. So I mean one out of three women have one out of three women have killed a kid, and the majority of abuse is done by women. You're the one that's misrepresenting that by saying I'm lying, because that's true. The majority, the majority. They rarely.
If most women are so terrible and they're not nurtured, then why do we have a problem with them aborting children if they're not going to take care of them correctly and just abuse them and kill them once they're in the world anyway?
Okay, thanks. Good question. Good question.
And we don't know her.
Good question.
If anything could have happened.
Good question. I prefer. I mean, I'd actually prefer she gives the kid. I'd actually prefer.
Why should I get pregnant? Why should I get pregnant?
I would. Okay. Okay. So I'd like to address a few things that you said. Could I do it without you interrupting me? Is that possible? Is it possible? I'm just asking, because otherwise I won't even go. You know what I mean?
I wasn't trying to lose 8 pounds, but then this happened. Factor is my favorite hack for losing weight sustainably with restaurant quality food. The chef-made meals take the guesswork out of eating clean. Everything's pre-portioned and dietitian approved, so I'm not counting calories. I'm not even cooking. Factor gets delivered to my door each week, then I just eat it in 2 minutes. No prep, no kitchen cleanup. I'm doing keto-friendly meals, delicious protein options, and absolutely zero extreme diets. Stop counting calories and start looking forward to how you'll feel with Factor. Want to lose 8 pounds in 8 weeks? Start with 50% off your first box.
No hunting for Wi-Fi, no hassling with local SIM cards. 5 continents, countless countries, it works everywhere I go. Unlimited data means I never have to choose between work calls and bedtime video chats. Full of line. Peace of mind, always. It's so simple.
Okay, so when it comes to the abortion, I think it's actually very realistic to not get pregnant. And in fact, men have made it so easy to not get pregnant. Women said, I want to have casual sex. So the men said, here you go, here's condoms. And then the women said, no, I want to let him hit it raw. And they said, fine, do that. Here's plan B. They still couldn't do it. They're like, just take this pill the next day. Can you take it? And they're like, no, we can't do that. So then they said, all right, here's an IUD. 99% effective. You shove it up there and then you're done. You don't have to worry about this. Can you do that? The women said no. They said, here's a pill. Can you take this pill daily? Can you do it? And the ladies were like, no, it's too hard. They said, okay, we've done all this research. Track your cycle. You can only get pregnant a few days of the month. And the women said, no, we can't do that either. They're like, here's an ovulation stick. You can even track when you're ovulating. Here, you can track it on your phone. Can you do that? And the women said, no, that's too hard. Here's a stick for your arm. You can shove this in your arm. Can you do that and not get pregnant? And the women still said no. They said, okay, here's an abortion pill where you can just take the pill in the first month. Is that enough? Is that enough for you guys? And they said, no, that's still too hard. So, yeah, I actually think it's tough being a woman because my gender just lets me down a lot. You know what I mean? If we were so nurturing, we wouldn't raise such terrible kids. My sister works at a daycare, and she says she sees a stark difference between the kids with 2 parents and 1, or the kids with a dad in their life and that not. She says they're more rambunctious, they don't listen, they have no discipline. And, a lot of times women, I don't really find women, someone said that women have kids to put their trauma on them. And maybe that's somewhat true. I think women have kids more for the attention and the clout rather than like wanting to raise another human being, where the men are really good people. So they, and men don't abuse their children en masse. There are exceptions, yeah, but overwhelmingly, the majority of the time, women are the ones abusing children. It's over 50% of abuse is done by women. If it's done by a man, it's usually a man the woman brought into the kid's life. So that's just a fact. And yeah, that's really all I got to say. So go ahead. Is it?
Mud, all right, look.
I ordered 200 hand-forged knives for my dorm room and built a Wix website.
Son of a bitch.
I'm Noah Rosen, founder and owner of Forged to Table Knives.
We're joined by Texas Republican Governor Greg Abbott. Welcome back to the show, Governor. Good to see you.
You too, Shannon. Thanks.
So let's talk about some of these leaders who've left Texas. They say they're not on the run, they're not hiding, they're out doing media appearances, and part of what they want to do is to encourage the comments like you heard there from Governor Gavin Newsom. Here's your Texas State Rep, Ron Reynolds.
We got to change the rules of engagement and not allow President Trump to continue to have us bringing knives to gunfights. So if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. We will do whatever it takes for however long it takes.
So, Governor, how long could this take? When do you launch the next special election? When do you expect some answers from the courts you've petitioned there?
Let's try this.
So first, this could literally last years because in Texas, I'm authorized to call a special session every 30 days, and last 30 days. And as soon as this one is over, I'm going to call another one, then another one, then another one, then another one. If they show back up in the state of Texas, they will be arrested and taken to the Capitol. And if they want to evade that arrest, they're going to just stay outside of the state of Texas for literally years. And they might as well just start voting in California or voting in Illinois, wherever they may be. And that will aid and support the lawsuit that I filed in the Texas Supreme Court saying that these lawmakers have abandoned their seat because we are incapable of conducting business for the people of Texas because they have fled. This is the most un-Texan thing we've ever seen. In Texas, from the time of the Alamo until today, Texas stand and fight. What these cowards did, they didn't stand and fight. They fled and went to leftist blue states that may be more aligned with their personal philosophy that is not welcome in the state of Texas.
So you talk about the legal action there and the petition with the Texas Supreme Court. Now, back in 2021, the Texas Supreme Court did hold that your state constitution does recognize this quorum breaking by the minority can happen. So how do you now expect to convince them that these folks have abdicated or abandoned their seats?
Well, Shannon, the Texas Supreme Court didn't do exactly what you said. It did have a sentence in there that said that the way the Constitution works enables a quorum break, but didn't authorize it. Let me give you an easy example. An interstate highway enables you to be able to drive 100 miles per hour on that interstate highway, but you're not authorized to do it. And if you do it, there's going to be consequences for which you could be held into court. And that's exactly what we have with the quorum break here. We have a situation where lawmakers are violating the law in Article 3 of the Texas Constitution, where they are required to act on bills because they're violating that constitutional mandate. That means they are not fulfilling their oath of office, and they can be removed from office in this legal action that I'm taking.
Okay, so our next guest, Governor Hochul of New York, has welcomed some of your members who have fled there. She is praising them. Here's a bit of what she had to say.
The Texas and Republican states are doing it the direction of Donald Trump. I say it's nothing short of a legal insurrection against our capital. Legal meaning they're using the legal process. Does not mean it's legal, and it must be stopped.
So is there any conversation about legal liability for jurisdictions, for leaders, for other places where some of these Texans have fled?
So listen, all this big talk and bluster by Democrat governors is nothing more than weak sauce, because the fact of the matter is they are bringing a gun to a gunfight that had no bullets. because they lost their bullets when they engaged in redistricting and gerrymandering over the past decade. They have, because if you look at the way lines are drawn in California, in New York, in Illinois, Massachusetts, where there are no Republicans whatsoever, they run out of Republicans that they can move out of office. If Texas had drawn our lines mathematically the same way that California had, we would be not adding 5 more seats, we would be adding 10 more seats. And if you look at all the Republican states across the entire country, if we engage in this war of making sure that each state is going to draw their lines the way that the Democrat states have, Republicans are going to be able to pick up maybe as many as 25 seats. And then I'll add on top of that, with each passing census, it's the red states that are growing the population, the blue states that are losing population. We know mathematically that New York and California, they lost seats this last census. They're going to be losing more seats in the coming censuses because people are fleeing the leftist ideology of New York, of California, of Illinois. They're coming to free states like Texas and Florida and Tennessee and others.
So what do you say that the Republicans who are worried about this? There are some out there that are in blue states, they're in swing districts. They're worried about if the blue states do ramp this up, they're going to lose their seats. One of them is Congressman Mike Lawler. He's a Republican out of New York. He says it creates a situation where you're going to lose blue state members, which over the long haul are critical to keeping the majority. It's all that Lawler said, mutually assured destruction once people go full throttle. So what about those seats possibly being tanked in blue states?
Well, as you may know, the law in New York, the law in California is very different than the law in the state of Texas. In the state of Texas, all it requires is an act of the legislature to do redistricting. In both New York and California, it requires a constitutional amendment based upon constitutional standards that already exist in their state. And that's why I say what these Democrat governors are saying is a lot of bluster, because not only do they not have the ability to remove very many Republicans, they also have no legal authority to be able to get this done in time for the same election cycle that Texas will be ready.
Yeah, they do have levers, but as and we'll talk
All right,
about
guys, I gotta go.
They do have
But thank you for
levers.
joining me today. I appreciate it. I gotta get to work.
So there are procedures in place.
Leave a comment, like the video, share it with your friends. Tell them I'm a fucking faggot, and that's it. We're good.
Now erupt here in Washington. She says this is about race. Here's what she says.
Right now, African American